All right, welcome into episode 58 of the Avetts and Beyond. My name is Todd Emanuele. Very special guest joining me today. He's the lighting director extraordinaire, I can say, for the Avett brothers. He's an artist. He's a fan of the disco ball and also the former owner of the Green Bean. Did I get that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Pete Schroth is
yeah,
here. Pete, thank you so much for coming on this week. I've been really excited for this one.
absolutely. Yeah, like I said just a second ago, I have no idea what's about to come out of my mouth, so we'll see
That's
what
awesome.
what what happens.
That's perfect. And we're going to spend the next 35 minutes talking nothing but politics.
Yes.
No, no, rather not. Your Facebook
Uh,
page, I got to say, is one of my favorite pages on the whole app because you always
wow.
post interesting. Yeah, you you sound surprised. You always post interesting stuff on there. I love looking at your posts all the time and seeing what you're up to
Yeah,
and your
the
artwork.
algorithm is still trying to figure me out, so they send me all kinds of random stuff that I share it.
So I hear you have a very interesting story about how you got the gig doing lights for the Avett brothers. Can you tell me about that? Does it involve the green bean by chance?
It does, yeah. Yeah, so I try to make it semi-shortish, but
Oh, you take your
basically,
time. This is a good story. I want to hear the whole thing.
way back when we decided to open up a coffee shop, not because I was a huge coffee guy, but art. I wanted walls to hang art,
Yeah,
and I wanted a stage to put bands on. So I was like, all right, those are cool, but somehow we got to make money too. So we tacked on a coffee shop to a art and performance space, and it
very
it
cool.
worked out. We had phenomenal. I was never a jazz guy, but then we had these open mic jazz nights where I had no idea the players that were in this area just blew my mind. We had uh, so much music went through there,
And you're in Greensboro,
and
North Carolina, correct?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, it happened a few times where a regular or somebody would be like, "Hey, you got to get this band, blah blah blah," and I'd get the band, and it would be that one dude that told me to get that band, and no one else would be there. And that happened a bunch of times, you know. So it's like, So I started getting kind of more suspicious. And two regulars kept hounding me about, you got to get these guys the Avett brothers. And I was like, yeah, yeah, whatever. And
And
I
what
put
year
it
was this?
2000, probably 2004,
Okay. So they were really
early.
new-ish at that time.
Yeah, I'd never heard a song. Uh, I finally relented after these two regulars wouldn't stop, and we booked them, and it was a dollar ticket or a $2 ticket. David
Mhm.
Butler still has his ticket. Um, Sold out crowd of 99 people. Jim Avett was there. That was the first time I heard from him. And of course, he made an impression right away.
Sure, of course.
Uh, yeah, slam packed. Pre cell phone days.
Yeah, wow.
So
No
I have
videos of that.
asked, no videos, no pictures. I asked the guy last night that I found out he was at that show. I was like, did you take a single picture? No one took a single picture. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure it happened, but
It's in your memory banks for as long as that lasts, right?
yeah, I just remember it was Jim told me, he asked me, he says, is this your place? I said, yes, sir, this is my place. He said, well, my boys are about to blow the roof off. I said, that's great. That's what we're here for.
Well,
And they
he is
did.
proud. He is proud of them, isn't he? I love Jim. I've gotten to know him
Yeah.
over the last couple of years, and
Yeah.
they're very supportive. That whole family. I guess you
Oh
can
yeah, it's
do that.
amazing. And his artwork is
Love it.
he posted a picture last night. I couldn't yeah, he's blowing my mind.
And I love when he
So
talks about his art and how he says he's so bad and everything's, oh, I'm just learning how to do this, but they're phenomenal pieces that he
yeah.
does. So
Oh,
anyway,
he's having
continue.
fun.
Continue. So they blew the roof off the place.
Yeah, yeah. I mean slam packed. Like I said, the dude was talking to me about it last night. Like that's the legs on that event. It just keeps if you were there, it was awesome. And if you were there and took any pictures,
Yeah,
let us know.
send them to you or Tim Mossberger probably would appreciate that too.
Yeah, yeah. And then we just kind of stayed in touch. I opened, I'm trying to remember the order of things, but they're very kind and loyal people. So anytime they wanted to come back to Greensboro, they would call me. They outgrew the coffee shop pretty quickly.
Yeah, I bet.
So then I would just kind of put them in a bigger place, a bigger place. Then we opened a nightclub. They did the grand opening there. So we just stayed in touch, and my wife was making all their backdrops.
That's
So
cool.
she had more of a connection with them at that time. And to be blunt, when the nightclub failed miserably and very quickly,
Mm.
don't have a baby and open a bar at the same
Oh,
time would
yeah,
be
that's
my advice.
probably not a good combination. I get that.
Yeah. But
Hard
anytime
to
my
do
wife
anything
and
with it.
I, yeah, but that's what my wife and I did. We'd have a baby and start a business at the same time, and we're still happily married.
That's good. That's the one good thing I guess that came out of that whole thing, right?
Yeah. But so the nightclub went down. I honestly went to kind of a dark place. That hurt because that was kind of like a dream that just,
Mm.
I mean, crashed and burned hard. And then had odd jobs and whatnot. And then Scott called my wife actually and said, "Hey, we want to call Pete. Are you cool with that?" And she said, "God, yes. Get that man out of this
Oh,
house."
yeah, right.
So he called and I lied, and I'm still there 15 years later. I had no yeah, he asked if I knew how to do lights and I said yes, and then all of
Oh,
a
you
sudden
really
what?
had no idea how to do it at that point?
Nothing. I
This,
had a bar, we had lights in
you had
there,
lights
but I
there,
mean
yeah.
that wasn't like, yeah, it wasn't, yeah. I
So,
had there was a lot of Tums and Pepto Bismol for that first 2 years.
wow. So they kind of like brought you on the same way they brought Bob on with the stand-up bass. Like, oh, you can hold it, you can play a song on it, good enough for us.
Yeah,
And here
yeah.
he'd only played that instrument like two times or whatever when they brought him on.
We all lied our ways in.
Yeah. And here you are all these years later still doing your thing. So you lied about
Yeah.
that, but how did you get so good at just practice? Obviously you practiced a lot at it, but your lighting is phenomenal. Like it's the best you see anywhere.
I It's weird to me to hear that, but I appreciate
Really?
that.
Really? Wow. Well, I'm not alone
And
in thinking that. I can tell you that.
well, I do appreciate it. I do. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I think maybe because no one taught me how to do it,
Right?
maybe I come at it differently. I got a master's degree in sculpture, so to me, light beams are a solid object.
Yeah, I
So I'm
get
kind
that.
of building sculptures with these little moving figures in them.
So what do other lighting directors say about your work, or do you hear anything ever? Like, I wonder if they think you're crazy, if they think you're great, if you just don't follow the rules, or but
No,
maybe no one even cares. I don't know, but
yeah,
I
maybe.
wonder what they I wonder what they think of your work.
No, I've been told I have an interesting approach, which I think, and I've had, there's lighting guys that I look up to that will have conversations. So that to me, more than anything kind they might say to me, that they'll actually engage with me and we can geek out on lights. Like that's fun.
How far in advance, like you guys are going back on tour real soon. You're heading to Mexico in a few weeks to
Hmm.
start out the next run of things. How far are you already, do you have everything planned out for like every song already? Are you like a fly by the
Oh,
seat of your pants type of guy, or how does that work?
there's a ton of planning that goes into it, and that's pretty much what my last 2 days have been programming
Okay.
for those shows. Now I don't have uh, a set list or any of that, so you just kind of have to be ready. But
That was my next question. Like they're known for throwing set lists together kind of last second, right? And changing things all the time. So how does that affect you? Like you just have to have a whole bunch of stuff ready and then whatever they throw you, you kind of put something together. Is that how it works?
a little bit. But I mean, when I started, there was no set list at all.
Right.
Then we got to where we'd maybe do we knew the first 3 songs, and then it was go from there.
Yeah.
And even with the set list, it's never guaranteed we're going to stick to it. I have uh, a cheat sheet of sorts where I've programmed at least the first look of a song.
Okay.
So if they suddenly change and I know, oh, we're not going into Murder in the City, we're going to do Indo.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's all right. That's a big shift. So I can hit one button and I'm at Indo, but then I got to pick it up from there.
So
So
here,
I get the start, but then the
yeah.
rest is up to me.
And here's a question for you. Now, like the last year, they played a lot of the same songs, and people talked about that, not mixing up the set lists as much, and that made it easier for you, I guess. But this time, there's going to be some new music, I'm guessing, that they're going to be playing at shows. So do you have different lights in mind? You can't say anything, can you? Oh,
No,
man.
I mean, I think it's
Well, we know
known
they're
there's
going to
going to
play
be
one
new
of their
music,
songs.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, sound check is my like. I hope they play
Okay.
this more than one time,
Yeah.
and I just try to hang in there,
You can't,
But
have you got to listen to the record, the new record?
oh, I don't want to go down this road.
You don't want to? I want to though. Did they
Dude,
bring
I
you in
mean,
that? I mean, you're part of the group, so
there's a lot of things that happen that I'll get little bits of information because
yeah.
you
I'm
know,
not going to press you for details or anything. I don't want to know,
yeah,
you know, major
yeah.
details, but have you heard the album? That's an easy question. You don't have to.
I have heard the album.
Oh man, that's exciting.
It's really good.
Well, that's good. You can't really say it's not good, right?
No,
Now
no,
that
but
one
I mean
song's
that
okay.
it blows my doors off because it's been almost 15 years, I think, and they do still kick my ass. Like,
That's awesome.
holy cow, how did they write that?
That's
And
exciting.
that's like, yeah,
You're going to get a lot of
yeah,
people excited by saying that because I think there's a lot of people nervous about the album for some reason. I don't know. People, they seem to do this all the time. I was talking with Tim Mossberger, who knows everything and everything about the Avett Brothers.
yeah,
And he was like, this happened back when I Am Loving You came out, people were complaining. When Emotionalism came out, people were complaining that, oh, they sound so different and all this.
yeah,
Just, it's an evolving sound that I don't know even know how to explain it. Like if their voices are on it, it's going to be good. And I can't believe people can even think that they're not going to like it. I don't know. If you're a fan, their voices are their voices. And
yeah.
by making sense, it's hard for me to put into words for
No,
I'm
I
just
get it.
excited
Yeah,
to
it's
hear it. Like what do you think of the single that's out? Everyone's heard Love of
oh,
a
dude,
Girl. It's
I've
great,
worn it
right?
out. I love it. I love it.
How are the lights going to go for that when they play it live in Mexico? Is there going to
Uh,
be is there going to be a disco ball going for that song? Perhaps. Yes. No.
I don't know. Yeah, I have been thinking about it, but yeah, it's ongoing. But then it's like the best plans fall away once
Right.
sound check will tell.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Um, was the disco ball your thing? Was that your idea that you brought to the table? Because I've seen in your posts you have disco balls like in your backyard and everywhere.
Oh yeah, they're
Was
everywhere.
obviously
They,
being a
I
lighting
have.
guy, a disco ball has something to do with lighting. So was it all your idea to bring that in?
There was there was a show we did in New York, and the venue had a disco ball, and uh, Dolph was there, and he was standing next to me, and it was kind of a last minute. Why don't we try to hit that mirror ball? And I hit it, and I was just like, okay, that's got some turbo to it. So we yeah, it kind of evolved from there, and then yeah, I have history.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I think when I think disco ball, I think of that one, was it New Year's Eve where the one fell from the ceiling and crashed through the stage?
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
that whole thing like? That had to be scary.
uh, I'll be honest with you. It's something that it probably messed me up for about 2 years.
Right? Because that could have been
Um,
so much worse than it was.
yeah. And it,
obviously.
yeah, and it was yeah, it was a I didn't yeah, I don't really like it.
All right, I won't press you on that then. I don't want to bring back any bad memories or anything, but I just thought of that when we're talking about disco balls. I had one question. You had mentioned your wife did the backdrops for the band,
Yeah,
and I had a uh someone on Facebook. I asked for questions, and I got one question, so I'm going to read it for
yeah,
you. Devin Stinson Neff. She said they started tilting the backdrops at Wolf Trap last year. She said
yeah.
that was the first I noticed that. And she said, I spent an hour wondering if the stage mechanics were broken. Why the tilt? Artists being artists? What say you?
I think Wolf Trap is the first. No, it was Wolf Trap. I think we did the first night with straight trusses, and then second night pre sound check. I'm kind of there's this. How do I put this? I'm not a huge fan of symmetry, and
Right.
let's add 40 more lights because that'll make it more awesome. Um, so I was just like, well, what if? And God, I feel are we in therapy session here?
I'm
I feel
sorry.
like
This is
it
supposed to
was
be fun, not therapy.
yeah, yeah. No, I had a tough year, and outside life, it was a tough year. Things were falling apart. I was like, well, what? You know what? This. What if it looks like the stage is falling apart? You know,
So you
because
did do
that's
that
what.
on purpose. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
And I think I made a post, and it sounded like maybe something was broken. But if something was broken, I wouldn't have left it in the air
Right. Right. Of course.
because we've learned that lesson.
All right. Let's see. We're going to talk about your art. I really want to talk about that and mega, mega, mega. I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
What's your favorite spot to hit on the road? Because you guys go all over the place. What's your favorite multi-night run spot and your favorite just city to visit on tour?
Not including Red Rocks or
Oh, I mean, is it that's number one, obviously?
yeah, there's just from rolling in there with the buses to the stage. There, the stage hands there, which isn't part of the experience for everybody else, but they're some of they might be the best stage hands in the country. I mean, just the atmosphere that they're working in, the challenges that they're faced with on a daily basis,
Yeah.
hailstorms. I mean, getting
Oh,
the gear
sure.
up that hill, like
Yeah.
they have a show every day there in this in season. So I look very much forward to hanging out with those stagehands, the local crew, the shows there because the way the seating is sloped in. I mean, it feels like it's this tsunami crashing down on the wave of people. It's just
Yeah.
the energy
Wow.
there is
I've never been
amazing,
there. That's on the old bucket list.
dude. You
Yeah.
yeah,
I
you got to
gotta get
go.
out there.
Yeah,
What's the second
it's
favorite place on the road? I should have known Red Rocks was number one.
well, it's just it's hard to beat. Wolf Trap is one of them. Honestly, Wolf Trap is awesome. Uh, back when we used to do Crystal Ballroom in Portland, Oregon, that
Mm,
place it's the old ballroom dance hall,
yeah.
and the floor is sprung. It
Really?
actually is supposed to bounce.
Oh, wow.
So you put someone like the Avets in there, and I mean, my console would be
Yeah,
bouncing.
right.
So
Do you have to tie it down to keep it from falling on the
yeah.
floor? Jeez.
Atlanta, the Fox Theater. I grew up in that theater,
Oh, cool.
seeing REM and the Pixies and stuff like that in there. So there's nostalgic places to go for sure.
So you guys aren't going to Wolf Trap this year. Is that official, or
I
I,
honestly I have no idea.
I saw they released shows and you guys weren't a
Yeah.
part of it, so I just assume it's not
Wolf
happening.
Trap release shows.
I think they did. Yeah. And I didn't, people were saying they didn't see the Avets on there. So, uh,
Yeah.
but I mean, things can change. Things happen, I guess, maybe. People really like Wolf Trap, it sounds like. So they were hoping
It's a
to,
cool spot.
yeah. It's another place I've never been. Got to get there. Heard
Yeah.
good things. All right. So your artwork, mega, mega, mega. Tell me about this online art gallery that you started that I love. Check it
Nice.
out. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
It was basically I got back into making art, and then I, did the work, got a gallery show lined up. Pandemic hit. All the artists that I followed on Instagram were all like, shows canceled, shows
Mm,
canceled, shows canceled. My show got
mhm.
canceled, but everybody had, the artwork, but it was all just sitting in the studio. So it's like,
Right.
well, I can figure out how to build a website, and started when I had the green bean to go back, having the walls in there for art. I literally would just go to an artist's website and email them,
Yeah.
usually on the West Coast, and say, hey, I got a spot on the East Coast. Do you want to show here? And they'd be like, yeah, I do. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. And it just started happening. And then with Mega, same thing. I just started these artists that I was following on Instagram. Like, I know you got work. I'll throw it up on my website and let's see what happens. So
How,
uh,
how did
that
this,
that
how do the
was that.
sales go on there? Yeah, you must sell a ton of stuff off of there, right? Different artists.
Yeah, yeah. I'd
That's
say we
great.
definitely attracted some collectors.
I know
So
David Childers was a part of it, and
yeah, yeah, he still
I
is.
love his artwork.
Yeah,
It's simplistic and just awesome. I love it. I love his style. I have several of his pieces. I sent you a
yeah,
picture today in my office.
yeah, yeah. No, I love it.
I've got his stuff. I've got a painting from you up there and some Scott Avett stuff up on my wall. So
Yeah.
it's a
No,
classic.
David is phenomenal
He is.
artist musically,
Oh
with
man.
paint, and just a human being that's fun as hell to talk to.
Yeah, he sure is. And I'm working on getting him into that North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. I've mentioned this many times. I talked to Dolph about
Yeah.
it when he was on my show too. He's like, "Oh, I could nominate him. Maybe that would help, get him in there." I'm like,
Hell
"Oh,
yeah.
we got to do it. He belongs in there.
To which I say he's not in there yet.
He is not in there." He's like,
Yeah.
I really don't care." I'm like, "But you need to be in there."
Yeah.
There's people like from American Idol from North Carolina that are in the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. David Childers belongs in there. We got to
Yeah.
do something to get him in there.
A
So,
phenomenal songwriter.
yep, unbelievable, great guy. All right, so the website. How can people get involved with Mega?
Mega dot
Yep.
net is the online, and now we've partnered with a gallery in Winston-Salem called Visual Index. When you go in the front door of Visual Index to the right, there's a whole corner that is now Mega in the
Cool,
real world. And
nice.
we just took a whole bunch more work over there yesterday. So that's growing. So we're still online, but we're also now growing in the real world.
That's great. I see your paintings behind you. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, I'm sorry for my lighting. It's awful. Of course, your lighting is like perfect, but you're like a lighting guy, so that's only fitting. I need you to come over and help me fix my lights down here in my basement.
Yeah.
A little dark. But
The
tell me about
trick is
your
those screw in fold out lights. That's all
okay.
I got in there. Yeah.
So, well, the ones that are out, I need to like screw a light bulb in. That would help. And
That is a big first step.
yeah, we'll have some lights down here. So tell me about your work. I love your painting. When did you start? What's your style? It's great.
It's changed. Yeah, it's changed. Um, but the subject has kind of stayed the same, and sometimes not on purpose. It's funny when I hear myself say it, because the 20 something me was all angsty and punk and angry at the world, and just yeah, so angry. Not I keep thinking like, what was I so mad about? But now it's all like pastel colors. It's about love. It's about uh, this whole like we're afraid to tell someone we love them,
Yeah, yeah, isn't it
you
weird?
know? And it's like I can honestly say I love everybody. I can say that now. Back in the day, I would like, hell no, I'm not
Yeah,
saying
right, right.
that. So it all is kind of about love, but then that's also incredibly broad, because then you can, in a relationship like that, you could have a power struggle, you could have someone taking advantage of love, you can have lost love, you can have unrequited love. Like there's so many avenues to go.
Right, right.
Um, But for me, it just always came back to just be nice, love each other.
Isn't that it's just the way it should be. Like it would be so much better if people were just nice to each other instead of
But why
trying to
is that
be mean.
such a,
It
how
shouldn't
is
be.
that a difficult,
It
difficult
shouldn't be.
message?
That's I live every day trying to be nice to people, and it's amazing how you get backlash for doing that. Like people think you're fake or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm just being me. But
Yeah.
we're running out of time. We only got like 10 minutes left. This is crazy
Okay, cool.
how fast it goes. So want to talk about music. Like what
Yeah.
do you listen to?
Uh, Going back on the love thing, there's
Yeah.
this band that I've probably talked about too much called Idols, Idles.
Okay.
They're out of England. Uh, if you listen to him on the surface, it's very aggressive. He's got this very gravelly voice, thick neck dude, manly man. But if you like listen to the message, it is all about like love, about toxic masculinity. Like I was like, oh my God, this dude's like
Hmm.
yelling about these things, feels so passionate about it.
I gotta write this
They're
idols.
Yeah, Idles.
All right.
They're definitely my favorite right now.
I'm gonna check them out. Now, did you pick I got your list here. You picked the music for the episode.
Yeah,
And do we have an idol song? We do have an idol song in there. All right.
love. I believe it's love song.
Love song, yeah. So why don't you run down? You picked a whole bunch of songs. We're never going to be able to fit them all in, but I'll create a playlist and kind of throw it out there for people if they want to listen to your playlist.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. But give me a rundown of the songs you picked and why you picked them.
Ooh, I gotta remember. Gloria, Patti Smith. That's just one of those songs that no matter what kind of mood I'm in, what kind of mood my wife is in, if whatever, you put that on and like you're singing and dancing and it's just a phenomenal song. Uh Human Cannonball by the Butthole Surfers. That
Nice.
was young teenage Pete finding weird for the first time and like, oh, hang on a minute. What is this? And that led down a path. What else was on there? Was Boomtown Rats on there?
Yep, you got Boomtown Rats with Rat Trap.
Yeah, that's the first vinyl I ever bought.
Oh, nice.
Uh, yeah, I think
You,
it was a Japanese import.
nice. Then you
Just
got
a
Squeeze, Cool for Cats.
squeeze. My parents left my sister and I in our house for 2 weeks and went to Germany and left us there. And I bought two CDs. One was Squeeze and one was The Cars.
Oh,
And I
wow.
don't know if I went to school for those 2 weeks, but I played those two CDs because they were indestructible, right?
Yeah, right.
Uh,
So how old were you that they left you all alone for 2 weeks? You must not have been too
not,
little.
yeah, high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
I guess middle school. I'm not sure. What else was on there? Boomtown
You
Rats,
got Idols and Patti Smith, Tom Jones, Delilah.
Tom Jones. My parents again. We grew up in the kind of house where they would have these parties. Literally, the furniture. So the my reason I put that in there is just music in my family has always been massive.
Yeah.
My mom blew more stereo speakers than I ever did. But furniture out of the room, roll up the
Oh,
rugs,
that's great.
Tom Jones on full, and like 20 of their friends just dancing.
Who did the lighting for those parties? Was it Young Pete?
It was pretty dark. It was
Oh,
pretty
okay.
dark. It looked kind of like your basement.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's pretty dark down here. It's pretty scary. So my kids won't come down here. So this is a good place to come record my show.
Yeah.
All right. Then you got what else you got? Oh, a little Prince, and then the Avett brothers.
Avett Brothers obviously changed the trajectory of my life. I literally uh in a dark place when that phone call came,
Hmm.
and I'm forever grateful to Scott for picking up that phone.
Did you
And
listen to well, that was a long time ago, but have you listened to them religiously? Obviously, you see them play all the time, but do you like sit alone in a room and listen to any of their songs and get in your feels? Because their lyrics are amazing, amazing songwriters.
it's weird when you hear it live as much as I have. When I then do hear it
Yeah.
somewhere, at first I'm like, who's this covering the Avett Brothers?
Yeah, they do have a different
Um,
sound.
yeah. I've caught my wife listening to him quite a bit lately. I think
Yeah.
she's yeah. I think on the road, yeah, I listen to him, every day on the road. And it's just such a different thing to me, I guess.
What's your favorite song?
10,000 Words is always a favorite. May It Last is always a favorite.
Two of my
Uh,
favorites. Yeah.
um,
10,000 Words was the first one I actually heard and
yeah,
like fell in love with their music. Uh,
yeah.
but off the Closer Than Together, can you put in a word with Scott and Seth, or at least Scott? Uh, when you learn, can he play that live for us, please?
How does that go? Sing it for me.
I'm not singing it for you. They've never played it live, so
Really?
you probably haven't heard it
I
very often.
probably haven't. I will, as soon as
Look
we
it
get
up,
done, I'm gonna throw it on.
throw it on, and tell Scott that they have to play that song live, or he has to. It's a Scott song, and
Okay.
it's my favorite song that he's done, and he's got so many great songs, and I just love it. I love it, and so many other
Huh.
people agree with me. But they
Yeah.
play a lot of the songs off of that album. They haven't played a lot of songs off of there, but that's one that and It's
Yeah.
Raining Today. That's another one off of that album too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would love for him to do that live. Just such
Yeah.
cool songs. Anyway, When You Learn, go listen to it when we're done here. We got 3 minutes left here, so don't forget. Don't forget.
What happens at 3 minutes?
What it'll cut off.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just gone. I'll be gone. So
all right.
yeah. And the last song, Prince song, we didn't talk about Prince. Is he a big
Prince,
influence on you, or
honestly, that song is the first time I was at a dance. I was probably 13 or 14. I saw a pretty girl across the room, and that song came on. And I walked across the room without thinking and asked her to dance a slow dance. And it was like that was the first song that was like uh, had like soul to it and had just like, hey, it woke me up.
and the song is Purple Rain.
Yeah, slow dance to that tonight with somebody.
Okay. I can do that. My wife's probably she'll be asleep. I'll have to find someone else. Uh,
Oh,
no, I mean my kids. That's what I meant.
got you, got you.
I didn't mean I was gonna go find someone else. And she doesn't listen to my show. It's okay. And you commented after this list that you have. This list could be endless. Uh,
Yeah,
I feel the same way. There's so I couldn't narrow down a list of songs that have inspired me or mean something to me to
no,
5 or 6 songs. There's no way. I
yeah,
love music, and When You Learn has to be played live. I'm gonna say that again, for you. I don't want you to forget that. So,
got it, got it.
how often do you keep in touch with Scott and Seth? Like when you guys aren't touring, do you check in every now and again, or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's yeah, for sure.
that's
We
cool.
definitely stay. Scott and I, especially, just shooting creative ideas back and forth.
You don't talk politics, so right?
Nah,
Does he talk politics? He doesn't strike me as a type that talks politics or would want to talk
I
politics.
don't know. I've never. Ah, I never have. Um, yeah.
It's probably better off that you don't, right?
Yeah, I have very strong opinions, so I'm better off keeping them to myself.
No, I think we're on the same wavelength. I've seen some of your posts and stuff. I agree with you,
Yeah.
thousand
And I
percent.
just mean that in general. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, but I try.
Well, this is awesome. So, Mega 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 is what people can go check out to support.
Yep.
Do you have a Patreon or anything like that with your artwork, or is everything just through Mega 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 now?
No, actually, I've got my own website, petereric.com.
Oh, okay. That's right. I
Yeah,
knew
because
that.
my last name was I didn't want to have to spell it
Y-
so I just
I didn't
left it
even
off.
bring this up. I researched, I tried so hard. I've heard your name pronounced so many different ways
Yeah.
that I had to ask you how to say it just so I was sure. Do people call you Schroth all the time?
Schroth,
Yeah.
Scrota.
Screw, yeah. I wasn't going to go there. Well, we're gonna run out of time any second here, Pete. Thank you
We
so much.
should end on that note right
Yeah,
there.
that's a perfect ending right there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. We'll see you out on the road, and maybe we can get you
Awesome,
back
dude.
on
Thank
someday.
you.
Yeah, take
I
care.
really appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.